And I was like, oh, why not use Gemini Live? So it quickly solved the problem for me. I just had to add a little bit of cream of tartar and it was fixed. My roommate was watching the entire thing happen and she was like, okay, I need a Pixel now.
Welcome to the Made by Google podcast, where we meet the people who work on the Google products you love. Here's your host, Rashid Finj.
Get ready for a brand new member of the Pixel universe. Pixel 10a is here. And to learn all about it, we're here with Product Manager Laura Castilani.
This is the Made by Google podcast.
Laura, what's your relationship to smartphones in your personal life?
So I daily drive the Pixel 9a. It is a device that I cannot live without. It has been, I think, a companion through my life. I've gone through, for example, asking questions about my baking challenges, or even going through things like, hey, my dog is feeling a little sick. What should I do? To Gemini. So I would say it's kind of like a companion that I always rely on. Yeah, a source of entertainment, something that I can rely on, a productivity tool. Really, I think my phone is a part of my identity.
So you're a product manager for Pixel 10a. What does that mean? What is your responsibility for that phone?
So product manager oversees the conception to the launch of the device. Really, the way I like to think about it is you're really defining what the device is and really knowing who your user is and building for the user. So a day in the life could look like going through, for example, what our charging strategy might look like in the next 2-3 years. It could also look like working with designers and thinking through what colors might work best for the next portfolio. I really love being able to make an impact in people's lives. I mean, like I said, right? Your phone is something really personal to you. So I'm really excited to be working on a product that brings the best of Google AI at an accessible price point.
What people will immediately see when they pick it up is that there's something almost retro at the back, something that's been sticking out for a long time, no longer sticks out. And I've, of course, mean the camera bump or the lack thereof on Pixel 10a. Now, I guess it might seem pretty trivial for most people to sort of make that smaller, but what's that like when you're working on a phone and trying to get an amazing camera system in that body without creating a camera bump? Is it that easy as it seems?
Yeah, so when we launched Pixel 9a, we got amazing reception on the design. People loved the short pill design and really excited to be bringing that back, but now with a refined camera bar, which is completely flush, meaning 0 millimeters. This is not an easy feat. We re-engineered the phone and we spent months with our industrial designers and our engineering team to make sure that it looked beautiful, but also didn't compromise on the camera quality and the overall performance. So it is an amazing feat to be able to be, I mean, in my personal experience, like one of the only phones that I see among my family and friends that has no camera bump. And I'm really proud to say that it's a Pixel.
Absolutely. And it has a great camera system as ever, I guess, because I know a lot of people, they go on a vacation with friends or family. There's a few Pixel folks in there. They become the designated photographers for that vacation. And then as soon as people come home, suddenly there are like more Pixel owners. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, I'm always a designated photographer. I have a family of, I would say like 20 people in my extended family. So there's usually 19 people in the photo and then one person's a photographer. But with AdMe, there's always everyone in the photo now. And with Best Take, my cousin just had a baby. She's 2 years old now. So whenever she's looking away, we can just recorrect that with the Best Take. And I think one of the most amazing things about my Pixel camera is I'll be the photographer, take amazing photos, and I'll mention, hey, it's also a $499 phone. So I think people are blown away by the camera quality, but also the price point that you're getting with the camera.
Exactly, because some people might think that those advanced AI camera features might not be in a phone like 10a, but actually it's there, and a lot of advanced AI features are in 10a. What other kind of AI would you use on 10a while you've been developing the phone?
Camera Coach and Auto Best Take are coming to A series for the very first time with Pixel 10a. These are amazing editing and photography features that we have. I personally use both. I'm not the best photographer, so I love using the prompts that Camera Coach gives me to take better photos. And with Auto Best Take, I mean, with group photos or family photos, it always comes in handy.
So we were talking about AI just now in the context of photography. Of course, there's much more AI in Pixel 10a. So I wanted to just talk about Gemini for a second. What's your Gemini experience been on 10a? Because you're one of the only people at this point who knows what it's like using Gemini on Pixel 10a.
Well, I will say one of my favorite Gemini features is Gemini Live. I use it almost every day. If I could just tell an anecdote, I'm an avid baker, and I'm always trying out new baking techniques and things to try. So for my sister's birthday last year, I tried to make a Japanese cheesecake, which requires making a meringue, which is quite challenging because whipping egg whites is a very technical thing, which I came to realize very quickly. It was really flat when I first started making it. And I was like looking at different articles, scouring the internet on what to do. And I was like, oh, why not use Gemini Live? So it quickly solved the problem for me. I just had to add a little bit of cream of tartar and it was fixed. My roommate was watching the entire thing happen and she was like, okay, I need a Pixel now.
That's amazing. That's the best kind of story, right? To actually show people what it is like. So it's great to hear Gemini Live, of course, also available on Pixel 10a. Now, Laura, we've had many product managers on the Made by Google podcast, and I'm always curious to know what the proudest achievement is on the product they worked on, because sometimes it's a big thing that people expect, but sometimes it's something that they're proud of.
I'm really excited about Satellite SOS coming to Pixel 10a. I think it's a feature that is going to be so helpful and useful to a wider audience. I think it will give people a peace of mind that if they're in an emergency situation or, if they're on a hike and they somehow got lost, they'll be able to contact emergency services. So that personally feels really meaningful to me because I know that when people buy a Pixel 10a, we have their safety in mind, and people who have a 10a will be able to call when they're in trouble, whether that's like a natural disaster or something like accidental happened. Last year, I started to learn how to snowboard. So as you can probably imagine, it's not easy. I decided to try doing it as an adult just to try something fun. And I usually do kind of blues and greens. That's my natural and like very comfortable level. But one day I accidentally went onto a black diamond, which is the hardest difficulty. There were a ton of moguls, which are these little mountains, and I was by myself. And before I went on the run, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, the mountain connection is so spotty. What am I going to do if I'm caught in the middle and like I've been injured, right? So I don't know if Snow Patrol is going to get me. I don't think my phone will be able to connect if there is signal. I think that particular experience I always think about because I know that with Pixel 10a, if I'm ever caught in a situation like that, I'll be able to contact emergency services.
I wanted to touch upon battery life because what I remember from Pixel 9a is that it got rave reviews for its battery life. What about 10a? Is that something you had in mind, knowing that people loved that from 9a?
Yeah, so battery life is something that we know is really important to our users. We know from research that people want their phone to last the entire day. So with 9a, we had 30 plus hours of battery life. With 10a, we also have over 30 hours of battery life. We've also increased the extreme battery saver from 100 hours to 120 hours.
Oh,
so
wow.
Really excited that people will be able to extend their phone's battery if they need it.
So talk to us about longevity. And I guess there's a hardware side to that as well as a software side.
Durability is super important and top of mind for people who have A-series devices. So we've actually increased the durability of the cover glass so that it's more resistant to drops and scratches. It's also IP68, and it's our most durable A-series device yet. So really excited to be able to continue improving on durability year by year and just bring the most durable A-series device yet to the portfolio.
And yet you keep the price point accessible. So what goes into that? What does it take to make that possible?
So the $499 price point is super important to our users. It's one of the most important things that we consider when we're designing and developing an A-series device. So when we set out to build the device, first we think about what's most meaningful and useful to the A-series user. And we do a lot of research, whether that's qualitative or quantitative, to stack rank and prioritize these features. So the features that land on an A-series device are the most core, helpful, and uniquely Pixel features that come to the phone.
So my mom cares about sustainability, maybe as much as yours. So what's Pixel 10a's story there?
So yeah, every year we push the boundary of how much recycled content we can put into our device. And we work really closely with our sustainability, design, and engineering teams to really push that boundary every single year, working with our suppliers and manufacturers. So we're really excited for this year to have the most recycled content ever on an A-series device. This is not only a one-person feed, but it's the combination of multiple teams working together, finding solutions and more recycled content in different components. So we're really excited about it. And it's not only the device, but we also have 100% recycled packaging.
Great.
So really, really excited.
You also mentioned portfolios and colors, so we need to talk about Berry because that's going to be my favorite. I think we can show a picture up on the screen of what it looks like. So talk to me about the color selection. How do you land on those colors, and what's the story behind the Berry color, which I think is like stunning and amazing?
Yeah, I'll talk through like our color strategy first. So I would say with the A-series, we want to make sure that our portfolio of products, whether that's 10A, 10, 10 Pro, 10 Pro Fold, they have a cohesive color lineup. So when you look at the 10A colors, it's a more vibrant and saturated color compared to the 10 base and 10 Pro lines. All of our colors are inspired by nature, and our color, material, and finishes team, they do an amazing job doing research 2, 3, 4 years out, studying multiple color trends. I mean, they have an incredible amount of color knowledge and color theory. It's so funny. I walked into the color lab the other day and they were saying, hey, you're wearing like the color of the year. And I was like, oh, wow.
Not on purpose, I presume.
Not on purpose. But I would say, I think going back to your note on Berry, it's also one of my favorites. I think the team has spent a lot of time just making sure that when we develop colors, we're developing colors for everyone, right? We want to make sure we have a light neutral, a dark neutral, a pop of color, and a color that appeals to anyone who wants an A-series device. So I'm happy to say that everyone that I've met has really loved all the colors, and there's always a color for everyone.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining the Made by Google podcast. Good luck on launching 10A. By the time this is out, it will have been out. So people go check out the Google Store or any of the carriers and retailers that carry Pixel and find the brand new 10A.
Thank you for listening to the Made by Google podcast. Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts to be the first to listen.